Now, if you have a crow up to handstand or a frog to handstand, then I'm going to show you how you can build upon that to get your freestanding handstand push-up. So to go from this straight position down, kiss the forehead to the floor, and then push back up to freestanding. Now, first of all, we need to assess what level of crow or frog to handstand that you have. So ideally, you would have a slow lift off up to your shoulder stand through to your handstand position and be able to go back with control freestanding. But in reality, most people don't have that. When they're working towards the handstand push-up, they're going to more likely have one that uses momentum. So you'll be starting with all the weight into the feet, hips down and low behind you, and then you take the head and shoulders down fast, flick the feet up in the air. You might go over a lot towards the wall or towards overbalance, and you might not have a slow eccentric back down. Or the other version that's very common is we use the wall, either back to wall or chest to wall, and then when we come up, we use the wall a lot for our balance, and then do the same on the way back down. Now, there's no issues with any of those, but there are some gaps. So what I recommend we do first is fill the gaps on each of those movements. And the best way to identify any gaps is to go as slow as possible. So I can start in the handstand position, and ideally, I'm going to come down super slow, taking the head and shoulders forwards, starting to bend the arms, rolling down through the spine, bringing the knees towards the arms, touch, land, and catch in that position. So that would be the hardest variation because it's freestanding and it's going super slow. We could do a similar one up against the wall, just using the wall as much as I need to help me with the balance aspect, but head and shoulders still need to come forwards. The setup needs to be quite good because if my hands are too close to the wall, I'm going to hit my head against the wall. But that's a nice way to come down slowly if you don't quite have the balance to do it freestanding. And then we can do the slow eccentric walking down the wall, but I'm still trying to have lots of weight in the hands, not being too much weight into the wall, and then take over and land nice and slow in the froggy crow. So I recommend you do a repetition of all of those eccentrics, fill the gaps, go as slow as possible through the movements, use the wall just enough to stop you falling, but not too much so you're relying on it all the time. Then I'll be spending time at the bottom of the movement and the top of the movement. So the top of the movement is just making sure that you can hold a freestanding handstand. Now, the bigger my range, so the more I can open and close the position, move around in that balance window towards overbalance, towards underbalance, the easier it's going to be to catch the handstand at the top or catch the handstand when you're coming back out of the handstand push-up. And then for that bottom section, we need to get comfortable with taking the head and shoulders low towards the floor and ideally lifting legs off one at a time and then both at the same time. Now, playing with your angle, so how much your hip is on top of you, is going to dramatically change how heavy that position feels. So practicing that more shoulder stand position when your head and shoulders in front of your hands and the feet are behind you like that or like that is going to be really beneficial to finding the sweet spot where you can hold and hang out and have excess energy to help push you up to the handstand. Now, as we start to fill those gaps on the eccentrics at the bottom of the movement and the top of the movement, we can start to do more of a hybrid between crow to handstand and handstand push-up. So again, I would start with eccentrics. So the same as we done before from that handstand position, coming down with bent arms, but now watch, I'm not bending my legs until I need to catch at that bottom position. So it's looking more like the pathway of the handstand push-up, not the handstand to crow, until the last minute where I need to bring the legs down. Now, the beauty of that is it's going to feel comfortable with you if you can already do that crow to handstand, so you'll be able to hang out for longer in that balance position and not fall to overbalance or underbalance. Riding the edge of the overbalance and the underbalance on the eccentric to go really slowly is super important because we want to be in the middle of our balance window as we come down, not on the edge of falling towards underbalance or on the edge of falling towards overbalance. And then again, we can spend more time in the top of the position. So here, here I can practice closing the shoulder and then opening the shoulder back again. So that start or the finish of the handstand push-up, and then do the same for the bottom position. So here, but instead of just floating the legs, I'm going to float the legs and hold there and then come back to that position. Now that's super hard to find that sweet spot, but if you can get it, it's going to make the change of direction with the full handstand push-up much, much easier. And then for the concentric, the coming back up, we can use those same two methods. So the momentum one we use for that crow to handstand to start with, or we can go through the slow version. So the momentum one is going to be here, open the legs and go up. So going as fast as you need to through that movement. Obviously, you can go a little bit closer to the wall and use that at the top if you need to. And then if that's comfortable, we can do the same thing, but go slow before we push up into that position. Now at the top, you might find it hard to balance, so I'd recommend being close-ish to the wall and focus on trying to find that slight underbalance position, which is there, and not move to that bit too fast. So if you try and straighten out really quickly at the top of the handstand push-up, because you have momentum coming up in this direction, you'll more than likely go over every time. So try and pause just slightly. When you come out here, find your balance, take all the momentum out, and then do the final opening up to your handstand position. But remember, you're going to your freestanding handstand. Don't try and copy someone else's position in terms of what it looks like. You need to go to your balanced position because you want the highest chance of actually catching the handstand. You don't want to be falling out every time. You want to be practicing good repetitions as much as possible. And then you can just have a play with putting it all together to a point where you can go up comfortably, come down, touch, go back up again. And then you could even finish with that eccentric crow coming back out. If you wanted to there, you could do a partial range instead of a full rep handstand push-up. So that way you would just have a target to go to. When you get to here, touch the target, come back open, come back down, show control, smile, and finish. Now I have programs for handstand push-ups, crow to handstand, and all the other handstand exercises in my app. Link is down in the description. Let me know down in the comments if you have any video requests or requests for updates for the app, and I'll speak to you in the next one.